Welcome to Algo Hour 44. Somehow makes me feel old. I don't know. I'm joined by Ted and Lord Beluga and Joe, as always, and some very special guests today. We have D13 and Bunsan Muchi, right? Is that how you say that?
Yeah, Bunsen is just fine.
Bunsan? Okay. I should have asked ahead of time.
No worries.
D13, how the heck are ya?
I am way the heck well, and how are you?
Way the heck well. I love it. I'm excited, and I'm so sorry that
No worries.
Last week we got called off. I was totally indisposed, and I'm so sorry. But we're back. We are here. We have a good boy to give away this show from Pyrenees Pack. I know nobody here likes them. They're amazing. Such good art. If you win and you don't want it, I volunteer to take very good care of your good boy in my wallet. But definitely drop in, say hello in the chat. I'm going to ask Ted to help me get all the names down, and we will spin the wheel for the good boy. So make sure you say hello in our live chat today.
How many walks a day do you commit to taking the good boy on?
Ooh.
That's a great question.
It's a hard-hitting question, yeah.
How do you take
It's not
a
a
good
cat,
boy for a walk?
You put him on
With a good leash.
In my real life, I don't walk my dogs at all. But we have acres of fenced-in area that they run and play in.
So they're
They
like
have the best life.
Yeah, we do leashes when it's time to go to the vet, but we're really fortunate that we have a large fenced-in area. So my good boys get out whenever they want. They've got a doggy door, and I built it myself. D13. I'll have to send you a picture of my fancy doggy door. But yeah, I love it. I love the good boys. Pyrenees Pack has been around a really long time. I do not have a Pyrenees in real life, so I sometimes struggle on how to spell it when I'm going to tag them. But yeah, let's say hello to a couple people we have in the chat. We've got some people hanging out. Let's see here.
Shout out Maureen, who just got back from walking her dog.
Maureen is so good about walking her dogs.
Kenrick Felix as well. And just everyone else a part of the gang.
Well, we have some exciting stuff.
Does that count?
It does count. It does. It does indeed count. Today, though, like I said, we have the good boy. We've got some NFT flex time to go along right with that. We've got an update from Joe. We've got some limericks. And then D13's really excited to show us what he built, which anytime D13's like, I've been Devin, I want to show you this. It's like, I'm really excited. So I think to get started, Joe, I know you've got some prior commitments a little bit later on in the hour for your boot camps that you've got going. So if you don't mind, I think we shall head into Dev's Den.
Yeah, sounds good to me.
All right.
All right, hey everyone. We are 1 day away from the Algorand Python launch. So that's bringing native Python to Algorand, and that will be included in the AlgoKit 2.0 launch. So obviously the big thing that we're all talking about is Python, but that's not the only thing that'll be coming. AlgoKit 2.0 also has a brand new init experience. We have a lot of cool debugging stuff that we've been working on over the past couple months. So definitely check out, even if you aren't a Python dev, there's a lot of cool stuff in Python 2 or in AlgoKit 2.0 that is going to make you pretty happy. So if you're a developer, definitely check that out. And if you're not a developer yet, make sure you sign up for our boot camps. You can go to developer.algorand.org/bootcamps, and you can sign up. We're going to be starting our boot camps at the intro level. So even if you don't have any blockchain or Algorand experience, you can go to our intro boot camps, learn a little bit about why you might want to build on Algorand, and then we'll show you how you can begin building on Algorand. And of course, like I said, coming soon isn't just Python, but we also have a brand new client-side experience. So not only are we improving the smart contract stuff, but we're including improving how easy it is to interact with the chain and send transactions and stuff. And I think it's a really strong testament to how much our smart contract experience has improved, where one of our features that we love talking about on Algorand is that we have native tokens through Algorand standard assets. And it's actually gotten to the point where it's easier to mint a token through a smart contract than it is using our native SDKs. So we have a massive revamp coming to that as well that we'll be covering in the bootcamp. So even if you've been deving on Algorand for years, you'll probably have something new to learn in our bootcamp. So definitely sign up for those. If you can't attend the bootcamps live, don't worry. Subscribe to our Algo Devs YouTube channel. We'll be posting them there as well. And it's not only in English, we also have boot camps and recordings that will be available in Spanish as well. So hopefully a little something for everyone there. And we'll be doing boot camps not only with the brand new Python that we'll be releasing tomorrow, but also our Algorand TypeScript that has been in development for a couple months now, and that we are hoping to make some more official announcements later this year about that. But regardless, if you're interested at all in development on Algorand, definitely stay tuned for that. And that'll be the premier way to learn about how to build on Algorand with all these exciting new tools. So that is kind of what everyone's talking about this coming week. So I just wanted to remind everyone and make sure you guys all were ready for that. And then also a quick update on some of the other stuff that I've been working on. A big topic of conversation has been asset opt-ins. This has been an ongoing conversation since the beginning of Algorand, right? How do we improve the asset opt-in experience, and why does it exist in the first place? Should we even have it? And we've seen a lot of stuff happen with like BlackRock, for instance, that now has Ethereum going, maybe we should have a way to control when users can receive assets. And so a little bit justification for us for having opt-ins. It's kind of nice that we already have that feature on Algorand. But of course, for the user experience, we want to improve that as well. So the latest and greatest development in that is what we call ARC 59. And this is basically going to be NFT vaults for people that don't even have a vault yet. So this includes zero algo accounts. Anyone can basically make a vault for them and send them assets without them having to opt in. And wallets can show those assets to the user just like it's in their regular account. So it'll massively improve the asset sending experience and also improve the user onboarding experience. And of course, improve the like meme airdrops as well. So that's always great to see. So going to be a lot of positive stuff. I know I've said that we've been working on stuff for opt-ins like multiple times now, but this one is really going to be, the big solution that we as an ecosystem, wallets and dApps have agreed on that makes the most sense for solving it at a non-protocol level. Maybe sometime in the future we make some protocol changes, but this is a pretty simple change that we can build on top of the existing protocol, and that will be very easy for people to integrate. So as I continue to work on that, and the Wallet Council and all the people involved continue to work on it, I'll be sure to keep you guys up to date. We just want to let you know that we are indeed working on that. So yeah, those were my updates. I'll hand it back to you, IRL.
Thank you. I feel like somehow I've accomplished something with all this great deving that's going on, because we have D13 today too to show us another cool dev thing. But D13, how are you? Doing good? You excited about Python?
I'm doing apparently, how do I call it, very, very well or something. I just wanted to mention about the ARC 59. That's actually an interesting solution to like basically if someone were to send BlackRock funds that they don't want, I'd assume that if they're just parked in their escrow account and they never opt in to claim them, it doesn't really count as them receiving them, right? So I think that's the regulatory and the legal aspects of all of these things is not entirely clear, but it's probably a lot better than straight up having whatever tokens with whatever names in your accounts, right?
Yeah, exactly. And the nice thing about ARC 59 is that it directly integrates another ARC, I think, 54, which is for asset burning. So if you get an asset in your vault that you don't want, you can just directly burn it without it ever touching your actual account. So you can fully control what's in your name and what's not. So it's a pretty good solution, which is why I'm personally pretty happy about it.
My tax guy would love that. Like, you know, I'm saying. It's that time of year where we try to explain what a meme coin is to people who are responsible for our American income taxes. So part of deving, it's not really deving. Okay, I'm not doing deving a lot of justice right now, but something I have started to scratch the surface on, and I was stoked about a year and a half ago when I realized that I could delegate my algo to someone's node, right? So I was able to say like, hey, I don't remember who helped me with that. I'm trying to think. No. Helped me with it, and he set it up, and it was really easy. And I was like, hey, I feel like I'm voting and I'm participating in consensus now. NFD gives me the little badge. It made me feel really great. And then about 6 months ago, Voice testnet launched, and I was like, I'm gonna see if I can run a node. And I started to, and I'm doing it. It's there, but it is precarious at best. And so now I hear that it is possible actually now, that I can basically wrap my VOI so that somebody else can use it to participate. And then basically they divvy it back out, right? D13, I'm not doing you justice here, but explain to me how this works, how I'm going to get node rewards, but not have to run a node.
You did really well. So the first thing I'm going to say is that you shouldn't stop running your own node.
Not for testnet. I'll keep it.
This, yeah, sweet. So this protocol is basically an experiment. These are commonly called liquid staking tokens or derivatives. LST is a common acronym for them. It's the equivalent of ST-ETH on Ethereum, where you basically give away your ETH to some party, usually centralized, unfortunately, and you get back another token called ST-ETH, or in this case, DVOI, and that represents your initial deposit into the system, as well as some rewards that have accrued. So the longer you keep your DVOI, and the longer the VOI that's backing it, quote unquote, is participating in consensus and getting rewards, the more your return you have on the initial investment you made into the system. So that's more or less how it works. You basically lock up your VOI in a smart contract, and you receive some DVOI, and the yield here comes from participating in consensus. When the smart contract receives rewards, the next time it's called, it's going to recalculate the balances and then see how much its balance increased. And it's going to assume that everything that was deposited in is a rewards payment. It's going to take a fraction for the protocol rewards, and everything else is going to basically be used to adjust the price ratio of DVOI to VOI. So last week when this launched, it started at 1-to-1, right? And yesterday we had the first rewards distribution as on VOI testnet. The block rewards land on Mondays. And so now the rate is already 1.03 DVOI, VOI for each DVOI. And so, we are going to see a little bit how it works. It's generally a fairly straightforward thing, but with anything that involves money, you kind of need to be careful and take a lot of things into consideration. So in this account, I have some DVOI that has vested already, and so I have it in my account as a balance. So my DVOI balance now is 11, and I am going to redeem one DVOI that I minted last week into from the system and get back like 1.035 VOI. Let's get this signed.
So the vesting period, and I did read the first let me say I really liked like the look and feel of the site, and I'm gonna try it. I was kind of waiting to show everybody how I stumble through it, because I feel like, yeah, a dev can show us how something works, but it's not until I try to break it does it really become a real, totally legit thing, right? So,
did you manage to break it?
Impressed. I did not, but I'm going to try today just for you.
Oh, excellent! I'm looking forward to it. Right. So the considerations I said I was talking about before is basically how the system that you design, especially after you make it immutable and you're no longer in control to either like rug it or destroy it or rescue it if something goes wrong, is that you kind of need to factor in every like malicious way that someone could use to game the system. For void testnet specifically, everyone knows that the block reward distributions are on Monday. And so like the rationally optimal way to use Devoy, if there was no locking period, no vesting period or anything like that, would be to go on Monday morning, put all of your Voy in, wait for the rewards to be distributed, and then withdraw everything at an increased rate. But you haven't really contributed very much to the block production, because everyone else's Voy was in the contract, participating for the entire week, and then you just dipped in and out around the rewards distribution. So you basically game the system. And so for this reason, there needs to be a locking period, either when you withdraw your Voy into the protocol, which is called minting, or when you redeem it back into Voy. And I opted to have a vesting period when you first mint. And so if we go and mint 50 Voy into Devoy right now, since there's been a rewards distribution and the Devoy price is now 1.035, we see that we will receive a little bit less than the 50 that we put in, and that's to be expected. As more rewards get distributed, the price is basically going to keep going up to reflect all of the rewards that have accrued. So right now I minted my 48.3 something Devoy, but I'm not going to get it immediately. It's been allocated to me. The ratio, the price is fixed, so that's not going to change. But we see here that it's going to vest in 6 hours, in 6 days and change. So basically a week. And this basically protects the protocol from what the attack that I described before, people dipping in and out. It was pointed out to me before I launched that this might have been a more convenient thing to have when you are redeeming instead of when you are minting. But yeah, this is basically what the protocol does for the time being.
That makes sense to me that it would be when you minted it, because that's when you're buying, like that's when you're like locking in your buy price of that Devoy.
Yeah, Lobo had a very good point that like in real life, quote unquote, like in a maintenance situation, you would very often want to like, for example, dip into the protocol, get some Devoy, and then provide some liquidity somewhere. And making people wait for a week before they can provide some Devoy to, I don't know, Shivoy LP would be kind of annoying. So for this testnet, I've made the experience as like easy as possible. Like, for example, when this time comes, it will be airdropped automatically into your wallet. When you mint the first time, you opt into the asset, and I have a little bot that watches for vesting periods, for vesting completions, and so you're gonna get it automatically. But yeah, anyway.
So
it might be preferable to have it when you're redeeming.
Once it unlocks, right? Like once your vesting period is, it's automatically staked at that point, though, or do you have to then go stake the Devoy?
No. When you first mint, you lock up the Voy in the smart contract, and so it starts participating immediately. Or rather, the node that's using that balance is participating immediately.
So the delegation
it's just that you can't,
built in.
Yeah, the delegation is automatic, is instant, but you can't basically withdraw it and then get any rewards if some have accrued before the week has passed. If you want, you can also cancel it, and you get back exactly the rate that you paid for. So let's do it just for fun. But if if the rate has changed between your minting it and then canceling your vesting, then you're not going to get any rewards. You're just going to be refunded the initial 50 void that you paid, or however much. So yeah, there's another aspect I tried to build in here is basically mutable protocol parameters. So first of all, let's talk about this part. The contract is currently upgradable. So I have admin power over the contract, and so until there's an immutability fuse built in, and once I break it, then I won't be able to actually update the code. I thought this was, especially for a testnet, I thought this was a good balance of like having a little bit of control for the first week, while just to make sure that things will go as expected. But then once this fuse, quote unquote, is broken, then I can't like do anything that the protocol doesn't allow anymore. And then once this is broken, I thought it would be nice to have to try to think of a mechanism where I could update some of the parameters without, but while keeping the users of the protocol safe. And so the two mutable parameters here is the vesting period, which is currently 7 days. That's probably not going to change during the testnet, but also the rewards fee, which currently is set to 13%. So when you mint or redeem, there's no fees taken, like absolutely zero. It's only the rate that determines it. But when a rewards distribution is received by the escrow account, a percentage of that is taken as protocol fees. So currently about 114,000 has been made in protocol fees. So I thought it would be a nice idea to have this mutable so that, for example, if 20 million VOI accumulated from 107 holders, I could choose to like lower it. But still, this is kind of a dangerous thing to have completely uncontrolled. If I could change the rewards fee to anything I wanted and it took effect immediately, that would mean that I could set it to like 100%. And I could do that just before the rewards land. And I would basically take all of everyone's rewards for that week. And so what I thought to do is to basically have scheduled updates, which is depicted here. At the moment, there's nothing scheduled to be updated. But in a while, we're going to make a change to the protocol fees to lower the rewards fee from 13% to 12%. So the delta of this, like how much this can change, is actually controlled. You can only move up to 5%, if I'm not mistaken, each time. It's just not going to allow a larger delta for the rewards fee. But also, this change will only be applicable in 7 days. And so I can't just arbitrarily change it. It would basically I'd have to give users 7 days to like opt out of the protocol and claim back their VOI if they don't like the new parameters, right? Does that make sense?
I think I'm following along.
I really like that you're putting those parameters on the rewards fee, because that was what one of my questions was going to be, and then you kind of have preemptively answered it with the contract being upgradable. Obviously, like we like to everything for it to be trustless and whatnot, and I think having those parameters in place, much less with the scheduled updates right there, so that there's transparency, really just goes a long way. And this is just really impressive of like just demonstration of the network. From top to bottom, even when you're doing those contract signings where you have a little timer in the bottom left, like that's kind of stuff to me just goes a tremendously long way. So that's just my 2 cents, high level, non-techie developer, which IRL we're outnumbered right now.
Yeah.
We are outnumbered. It's okay.
When I asked for feedback for this,
I got you. Don't worry.
Can you hear me?
Go ahead.
So when I asked for feedback for this, the timer was a point of contention. You usually don't inform the user like how long they're waiting in UX design, right? But right. I kind of ignored that advice and I left it in because if you think about it, people, especially who might not have used Algorand or Void before, it's kind of a hard flex to see something like completely finalized in 5 seconds, right? Or 6 or whatever. So yeah, that I quite like that too. I think I'm gonna leave it in. Cool. So do you want a demo of how some of the like admin functions work here?
Let's just quick, I want to give a second to Bunsen to kind of weigh in because this tech is not exclusive to Voy. But while we kind of invite Joe and Bunsen to kind of share their thoughts, I'm going to try to see if I can do this. We're going to give it a go.
Sure. I mean, first of all, this is like, as a lot of you guys know, Algorand itself, mainnet is moving to an incentivized block production. So they're essentially going to start incentivizing consensus, something that wasn't up to this point a thing on Algorand. Like Algorand operated under the premise that if you held enough algos, it would be within your best interest to stake them, to protect the network, and to run your own nodes. And they're now moving from that into a point where they should be rewarding block production at the consensus level. What D13 built is essentially like what you have with delegated staking is that there's 1,000 ways of doing it. There's as many ways of doing delegated staking as there are blockchains. Each one has its perks, each one has its downfalls. You enter a bit of a type of trilemma, if you will, with delegated staking in the sense that usually it's very, very hard to balance both centralization, because a lot of the cases, the node to which you're staking can essentially be a centralized component within the network. So in something like Ethereum, when they moved to a proof of stake system, their biggest operator was running type of software that was censoring a level of transactions. And because they were operating a large amount of the stake, the amount of transactions that were getting censored at some point reached I believe at a peak 40 or maybe even 50%. So that's a situation that you don't really want to have. You don't want to have a permissionless system that is suddenly being censored because it is centralized at the staking level. The second one is the time constraints. So like as D13 explained right now, because of the way Voy is doing rewards right now, there's a potential exploit in which you could not participate on the actual block production, but still gain rewards if you were to leave it completely permissionless. So finding that balance as to like what is enough time for staking for that person to essentially be able to claim rewards without it becoming an exploitable point is it's very hard. So right now there is another team in Transactional Labs. So Patrick, who is a great developer, is building a full stack just essentially to deal with this, to like make it so that you could have the finality, the fastness that we all like of APM chains like Algorand or Voy, but at the same time not have those long lockup periods that are plagued in sort of other proof of stake networks. And then the other one is the balancing. So, for example, one of the reasons why a lot of protocols end up not moving to a more distributed, multiple nodes, single staking interface is because balancing how many tokens you put on which node at what point, and then who has a stake there, who can claim, who can't, how the rewards are shared. This is a very tricky thing to do right. So right now, D13 is essentially doing it on, correct me if I'm wrong, but it's all essentially being operated by a single node, right?
Yeah, absolutely. I was going to get to that part, but you did really, really good explanation of LSDs and some of their challenges.
Yeah, so because it's operated by a single node, keeping tabs on everyone's balances is relatively easy because it's all going into a single pool, if you think about it this way. So because it's all going to a single pool, it's fine. Some protocols don't like it when a node goes past a certain threshold. So for Algorand, I believe Algorand and Voy, right now it's around the 50 million token mark. So if you go past 50 million tokens, they prefer it if you would operate on multiple nodes, and you should never have one node operating under that threshold. So let's say that D13's product is extremely successful, and they managed to like reach that 50 million cap. then he would have to like start thinking about, okay, what do I do next? Do I then create another instance of the smart contract and create a devoy 2.0 and then fragment the token and then create a stable spool in which we, like it can get very complicated very fast.
My anxiety started to go up as you
exactly.
To say
so once you start like reaching, once you suffer from success per se, it can get very complicated. And that complication, it's very hard to keep it decentralized, keep it permissionless, and at the same time keep it interesting. Because at the end of the day, this part of the reason why these protocols are interesting is because it makes the average user's life way easier. Because it's a bit, it's great in theory to want everyone to run nodes, but the reality is that there is a barrier to entry. And not necessarily do you always want people without the ready availability and the technical expertise to run nodes with high stakes, because you could have situations where the network requires those nodes to be online and the person operating them isn't as invested in them. So it's always very hard to keep it decentralized, but also keep it secure, but also keep it intuitive. So liquid staking systems kind of lower that barrier, and it makes it almost as easy as using a DeFi protocol. So it's really cool in that aspect, but it's very hard to do right.
I know I was excited about this, like I said, because I have learned firsthand as a non-technical user how to run a dedicated device participation node, not a relay node. I'm not that advanced yet, but a participation node. And it's a little stressful as a non-technical user. Like, it's set up and I got to make sure it's online, and then you've got to generate new keys and if there's an update to it. And while it's been a great learning experience, when Algo came out and said we're going to incentivize node running, and then I heard, oh, it's going to have a 30,000 Algo minimum, my heart broke a little bit, because we want people to be able to participate in securing we want it to be their network, which really just kind of jives with everything I've ever heard Silvio talk about blockchain being accessible, right? And those barriers. So for me, I'm super excited that this is going to be an option on Algorand as well. And I'm hoping, I don't know, I know it's bad luck to ask a dev when, but do either of you know when we're thinking we might see this on Algorand, D13?
Q2/Q3 is the best estimate that we've seen. I don't think we have anything more specific than that. I think a lot of people were somewhat surprised and even upset at the 30,000 Algo minimum. But I also think people underestimate how many things will come out around creating your own permissionless pools and participating. So just to add a bit more context for Devoy specifically and LSTs in general, this is just a prototype. I did not attempt at all to address the decentralization aspect from the node running point of view. The node is, this runs exclusively on my node, and the fee administrator, which is a second role on the contract, controls the updating, taking the escrow account online and offline, meaning participating or not participating in a consensus. However, like liquid staking tokens is not going to be the only option to participate this in consensus by long shot. I hope that Reti, that Transaction Labs is working on, which does not involve a token, that anyone can just set up a pool, and that will just keep track of everyone's balance and everyone's accrued rewards, and you can just go and claim it without really having a tradable token, right? So the LST appeal is for to be able to use it in DeFi. Whereas you also have an excellent option of just having it associated with your account and then going back to the pool that you staked and then claiming back your original deposit plus some rewards. And so you won't, if you have a node but you don't have 30,000 Algo, I imagine that you will quite easily be able to get that amount. It wouldn't have to be given to you, but you'd be able to set up a permissionless Reti pool or Meti or Betty or I really think we're going to see quite a lot of options in this space, because generally I think DeFi will reorient itself around consensus rewards. And so if you only have 5,000 algo, but you have a decent hardware to actually run a node on, you'd put that 5,000 algo in a pool, and then you'd invite others to basically fill the gap and get crowdfund, let's say, the 30K minimum required to get some rewards.
I know we've got a couple questions. I wanted to give Joe a chance to comment, but then I think one of the questions is for Joe too.
Yeah. I mean, just real quick on the topic of, the minimum requirement and all these different solutions. Really, the goal is that, I think kind of the end goal for staking is that as a user, you have many different options, and it's very easy for you to choose which one you want to do and switch like on a dime. And I think a good example of this is looking at like the Cardano ecosystem, for example, where they have delegated proof of stake kind of more at a protocol level. So it is a very different, technical implementation, but the user experience is quite nice, where you can just look at all the SPOs and choose which one you want to stake to and switch at any time. And I think as time goes on and as these various different solutions kind of mature, then we'll start to see kind of the ecosystem as a whole getting around these solutions and making it easier and easier for users to do this sort of like liquid staking or delegating and stuff. And I think that's ultimately where we'll end up, especially because we have so many like really strong, builders in this space. I did want to. There was a question in the YouTube chat.
It says from Football Transfer Gossip, which I know gossip is a dev word. For the ARC, if the individual is unaware and then they opt in randomly, do the assets auto transfer, or do they have to open their vault for the nice surprise still?
Yes. So if there are assets in your vault and then you opt in, all future transfers to you will directly go to your account, but you'll still have those assets in your vault, so you'll have to manually claim them. The only person that can transfer assets from your vault to your account is you. So there can't be an automated system that does that transfer automatically.
Gotcha,
we could
that makes sense.
Theoretically add that feature, but it would add more complexity, which makes it harder for developers to implement, which means less likely to implement. So it's kind of a balance of how easy it is for developers to use and how quickly it can spread in terms of adoption and all the different features that we can choose. And we feel like ARC 59 is a good middle ground where it's offers the core features that users want and still very easy for developers to implement as well.
Maureen Denny wanted to know, is there a place that lists all the ARCs and what they do? I know there is. I have seen this site. I think it's on the Algo developer portal, if I'm not mistaken, but I thought I'd ask Joe.
Yeah, so you can actually go to arc.algorand.foundation, and that'll list all the different ARCs. And in that, it's basically a table with the ARC number, the title, and then the author of the ARCs or the authors of the ARC. And then you can click on each one to get a little bit more information about it. And that also has various links to like ARC related stuff. So for example, if you go to arc.algorand foundation, at the top, there's a Algorand wallet compatibility matrix, an ARC NFT matrix, and a tech radar. And you can use these links to not only learn about the ARCs, but to see which wallets support which ARCs, what ARCs are being considered by the ecosystem, which ones are we kind of still figuring out, what are we talking about. So arc.algorand foundation is kind of the homepage for everything related to ARCs and just general adoption of these various standards. So yeah, it's arc.algorand.foundation.
And you get to see that Joe made ARC 54. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, I've gotten involved in a couple of ARCs. I always get community help as well, but the ARC process is really fun, and you don't need to be super technical to get involved. So if you see an arc that you kind of hear about it and you have questions, definitely just like reach out, and who knows, maybe you'll become an author of an arc.
Oh gosh,
Send me.
that's true. I have been in those. I listen into the ARC meetings occasionally when I can, and I know the person running them is it Stefan that runs it. He's really dedicated. Yeah. I'm not saying I always agree, but it's always interesting to see those debates play out. I'm thinking, I think ARC 58. And then on the boy side, I think D13, that's an ARC 200 token, the D-Boy, right?
No, it's just a standard asset, actually.
Oh, okay.
That's it's maybe a little bit. Everything is oriented around. Mostly everything is oriented around ARC 200 assets on Void, but
just because I did it, I tried it, and it took me like 3.9 seconds, and it was probably just because I couldn't see the tiny font because I've got so many different windows open on my screen. It took me a minute to be able to see the numbers, but I think it took me 3.9 seconds. Ted did something. He said it took 2.9. So I don't remember opting in. It was like really, really smooth from the UI. I did not break it. It was amazing.
That's great to hear.
And just as a kind of non-technical, we want to get into a quick break for games because I love a good game. And Lucas got some limericks, and I just think that that's fun. But there was a question here that I thought I would pose to you again from Football Transfer Gossip D13. I think you might, or Bunsen might have a comment on it. Isn't one of the benefits of lockups on AVM to reduce node fluctuations and better ensure stability? Shouldn't we keep lockup periods to try to ensure nodes don't see high fluctuations in delegated?
So the AVM actually doesn't care about amount of stake in between blocks. Like, it has actually no impact. Okay, I'm not that deep into the Algorand stack, but I kind of deep enough to have, like, I've spoken to Gary, the CTO, a couple of times about this, because I was actually wondering the same thing. Because in my head, I wanted LPs before consensus was going to be rewarded. One of the ways where I thought, when the Algorand Foundation was saying, like, oh, we're running too much of this, we want to operate less, and we want the community to be running these nodes instead. One of the immediate places where I thought, hey, here's a bunch of algos locked up, was LPs. Because, like, for example, on the USDC Algo LP, there's something like 50 million algos locked up. I don't know, but there's a lot of algos there. So I actually posed the question to Gary, like, hey, so you have this where it has a lot of algos, but it's always changing algos, like almost basically every block. Every block there's going to change algos. Like, how does Algorand deal with this? And the way I understood it was twofold. First of all, the AVM itself doesn't care about consensus. So the AVM is just a runtime machine that runs on top of consensus. So it's not quite the same as Algorand, the blockchain that has to resolve every X amount of time. So the AVM is essentially like going to resolve logic, and then on the resolution of that logic is going to post transactions. And then the posting of transactions is operated by the blocks. One block proposer comes in, says, like, this is a valid block. The whole VRF thing happens where they choose, like, is the valid block proposer going to be the one that, like, reaches consensus, yes or no? But it's in this round of whether or not the block proposer is chosen as the current block proposer that it doesn't matter the fluctuations on the balance of that person. So the Algorand consensus mechanism doesn't care about how many algos you control, like, at any point. Like, you could have the amount of your balance change within the block that you're proposing, and it'll be fine with that, as long as you had it before that, because you were selected with the prior stake. I think that was my big picture understanding. But I'm sure Joe and D13, who are also very much well-versed than me, can chime in.
I don't know about that, but I've asked for quite similar reasons whether fluctuating state would be harmful to the protocol, and I got the same answer. So the intersection of DeFi and participation, is not hindered by any such limitation.
The big
Joe,
brains
are
at
we-
Algorand Technology said it's fine, so it's fine.
I was going to say, have we reached a consensus on the consensus?
Yeah, exactly. I mean, the key thing is that, like, we all know, like, we've heard, VRFs being talked about, and we know that's what powers the consensus. And the key thing with how consensus works on Algorand is that the thing doing the work to participate is only the people that's actually participating, right? So, a common analogy we use is lottery tickets, right? Like, there's just one lottery number that's picked, and someone could go to the store like 50 times to keep buying a lottery ticket, but that doesn't affect the lottery number at all, right? It's that person is choosing to do the work to get 50 lottery tickets. So when you have a lot of stake, that affects, how many lottery tickets you get, but it doesn't affect the rest of the network. It just affects the work that you need to do. So having these fluctuations doesn't affect the network as a whole. It just impacts your chances of getting the winning lottery ticket. So all these fluctuations, as was mentioned, doesn't, negatively impact the rest of the network, because the network, it has that winning lottery number, and that's the only thing it cares about. It's up to the proposers to show and prove that they got the winning ticket.
All right.
And all of this in less than 3 seconds.
That's crazy.
Yeah, it's wild.
Luga, do you have any questions from the back of the class like me?
No, I don't.
I'm catching up on some more questions. Buddy Man's got something about a coin and a Baumgartner. I don't.
So there's like
Smaller
a
accounts will
protection
pull.
fund being made of in case Baumgartner actually sues somebody for defamation, since he's actually like legitimately going after people. So you can donate Algo to this address, and then they'll give you.
What if it's not a frivolous lawsuit? I feel like the fine print, like he's gonna find something right. He's gonna find something not frivolous.
No one has actually gone after Baumgartner for anything that he hasn't said. So like,
yeah. Okay. I'm gonna move on from outside.
Algo Learner asks about how small, like, what's the actual process for small accounts pulling together? Is that something that's going to be easy in terms of it being like and I kind of think I know the answer to this, but like, will there be a walkthrough and make that really user friendly to set that up?
Oh, you mean, I think for like separate, like individual pools, like community pools, right?
Yeah.
I was like, I just did it just now. It was super easy.
So right now, the solution that's looking like it's generating the most buzz is the Reti node operation, and that Transaction Labs is building. And for that, building the actual node that can get delegated pools. So like the actual, I'm going to be the one that runs the infrastructure, the node, whatever, is going to have some very little, but some complications, and it's going to be akin to running a node at the moment. But when it comes to actually delegating to that node, people are going to build their own UIs, and I expect them to be as simple, or if not easier, than something like delegated governance is at the moment on Folks Finance. So I expect it to be within that same ballpark of difficulty, i.e. no more difficult than connecting your wallet, signing a transaction, sending some algos, seeing a little number pop up, and then every X amount of time either removing from those algos or not.
Yeah, exactly. And I don't remember what's public and what's not, so I'm going to not try to leak too much alpha.
It's my favorite time of Joe is when Joe says that.
In this ready design, like a big core philosophy is designing it so that smaller communities can leverage it and make it usable for their community. So, for example, there are different ways you can gate how people can stake in the pool. Like, for example, maybe only people that hold a certain token can participate in, XYZ pool. And so it'll make it easier for people to run their own pools and get their own communities together and avoid kind of that big centralization by being designed to be run by multiple different nodes, multiple different people, and multiple different communities.
All right,
Wow.
D13, you know that there's some boy NFT games going on right now. So I want to see a little flex time, but I wanted to ask you, is there anything else? I'm impressed that I could use it like without help, like super fast. I really anticipated it was going to take me a little bit longer. So just first, I'll give you a chance to tell us anything else that we might want to know about D-Boy right now. I know if people want to check it out, let me get the URL exactly. What is that?
It's d.voy.green. And yeah, I was thinking I could show you how, yeah, I mentioned that I would lower the fee. And so this is just a command line thing that will schedule an update for 12% fee. So it's 1 decimal point for this one.
Oh.
And let's see. So yeah, here we have scheduled update. The next fee rate is going to be 12%, and it's going to apply in roughly a week. And just for the sake of the argument, let's say I try to set it to 99.9% and see what's going to happen. So it's going to tell me that the update is too large, and you can't really do that, mate. And so that's how you do that part. And the other thing that I've promised the community to do is basically break the mutability fuse of the contract.
Oh, you're going to make it so you
enter here. Yeah,
like
so
a little. I feel like you're cutting a wire.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Like you can't go back after that. So let's go. 3, 2, bye.
Whoa! I'm impressed. I know you launched it last week. No, everybody's been able to redeem, and you've checked all of those things. Seriously, congratulations to you. And what it does, like the function of the DApp is amazing, right? Like for all the reasons that we mentioned, but for me, it's talking about those barriers, right? For non-technical, non-whale users such as myself, but also to Bunsan, because I was saying before the show started that the Siege is like one of my favorite dApps on Algorand because of its UI. So I just want to thank you both for just being, as the non-technical user who is stumbling through these dApps on Web3, I just really appreciate both of you for those UI UXs.
That's all on Greg. If you saw the UIs I built, you wouldn't be thanking me.
I used TinyMan a long time ago. It's only, or Tiny Charts, but it's only gotten better. I mean,
I'll relay the thanks
so
to Greg because he is an amazing UX designer. Not gonna lie, but don't tell him that because he gets too cocky.
We won't tell him. It's okay. And then what else? Let's see here. We've got this good boy that we want to give away. Let's head into NFT Flex time real quick. We'll do that. If I can find them.
I was gonna say I'm waiting for the music, and it's
here, Ted. All right, we're back, and we've got some flex time. Bunsan, I don't know how into NFTs you happen to be, but we have brought D13 over to the dark side. And he gets down with the NFTs occasionally. How many Voy NFTs do you have, D13?
I think 2 or 3 actually. It's been really busy month, and so I haven't actually had time to participate in the NFT games. But I was lucky enough to be given a couple. So I have a Roof and a Dork.
Okay. I like it. I currently have 55. collected.
Wow.
However, I have sold quite a lot. And as soon as I really get a handle on figuring out how to view my activity in a meaningful way, I get a little confused with the application packages, like how to see the things that I want to all the time still on that. But it's been really fun. And there's been some people showing up for it. Taco is on flex time for some tacos, but also he has a project with Zarmian and I want to say Zyphoid. Could be wrong. Don't be mad. Maybe it's DC Dragon. He's in a collab project. I think it's Board Crepes. The Basic Buddies are Pixel Buddies Envoy, so they're there. There's just been a lot of really fun stuff. Pyrenees Pack has one. Let me see if I can show you my collection that I'm unwilling to sell. Let me see. Because you're supposed to be selling them right now. It's the NFT games. The whole point is to like promote trading. And I have sold some. There's some that you're going to have to pry them out of my.
And it may be a good time too to show off the Nautilus kind of, I think that has a good little on their homepage of the activity, which you have your page up. There you go. Okay.
I have my page, but just some quick, I got some Shibas. I want to help Shiba by selling them, but I don't want to sell them. So I bought and sold a different one so that there was secondary activity for me for the Shibas because I'm a big Shiba fan. Same for the 8-bit hearts. That's a Rumi project. Perseus is there. Who else? Treehouses, Rach. There's a coloring contest this week for those. We got the Pizza Pals, War Buddies. I mean, I got a decent collection, but I have bought and sold a few. So the hams, the lunch boxes. I do have a dork. And then here's my woof I bought on secondary. That wasn't the one I pulled, but it's a good woof. So shout out. Oh, and then I feel like I'm giving away the answers for Luga's limericks because there were limericks.
I don't know that.
You know, I feel like Ted co-hosted a Voy NFT game space. So I really feel like D13 and Bunsan might enjoy if we give Ted the questions today.
Ted has to do the limericks? Oh, poor Ted.
I mean, he did just co-host a Voy NFT game.
He's got no chance, bud.
So, you know, I think he can do it. What do you say, Ted? Are you down?
You're muted.
I can't hear you. That makes me scared that you're a little scared.
I'm so scared that I just decided to mute myself and pretend like I was going to have tech problems. But then I felt bad. You called me out too quickly. I was about to be like,
Oh, no.
All right. Well, just as a reminder, make sure you're saying hello in our chat because let's get to the right screen here because we do have that good boy that we're going to give away thanks to Pyrenees Pack. I'm a sucker for limericks. I know we've got devs in the house. I don't know. This is the nerdy part of me is limericks and like, wait, don't tell me on a Sunday. So, I don't know all the answers, Ted. So I will endeavor to try to help you.
All right.
Right. I'm starting off easy. A semi-regular on the show. He's an NFT now, don't you know? Drawn by Dale. These dudes don't eat kale. Part of the Voy games.
Wait. I know it's the Dale thingies.
Mm-hmm.
What are they called?
Okay.
And Chris Swenner is one of them. It's the.
Is it the?
It rhymes with show and don't you know?
Don't you know?
Don't you know?
Oh, Chris Bros. That was one I could visualize it, but I didn't. That was okay. All right.
Those
we
Dale thingies.
So
stumbled through the first one.
That's a good start.
I appreciate it.
You can pick them up in shops. They kinda look like mops. Mostly a cephalopod, but with a human bod. Always an invasion with the.
Oh gosh. It's It's not, and then it's that cephalopod has me.
Well,
That makes me think it's like, I thought it was like chubs at first, but that doesn't rhyme, and they don't look like mops. Oh gosh.
Logan had the Chris Bros right away. I don't see him. Oh, I do see it. Right as I was like, I don't see the answer. And he did successfully get me to sell my wild. Congratulations, Bogan. I sold all my MIAs.
That is flops. That is correct.
Flops. Good job, Bogan. Impressive. All right, we got one more.
It's almost time for these. Claim your badges with ease. Whether a whale or a baby, get them for free. Maybe. Flex off your bag with.
Is it the not the tree house? Why did I think that rhymed? Ease, these. The rhyming makes it hard.
The rhyme does not really help you on this one.
Get them for free. Maybe flex your bag with.
Like, bork me, bork please.
Okay.
I don't have an almost right sound effect, Ted. It's either a right answer or wrong answer sound effect.
That all I'm saying is that one was, I think that's like kind of in the middle.
He's Bogan's guessing chubs, which I don't think that's the answer.
Yeah, that's
Nope.
Oh, these.
Oh, Pyrenees. Oh my gosh.
Either. Nope.
It's not Pyrenees? Zarmian, I can't spell Pyrenees either. Don't feel bad.
So you haven't got time. Like, what is happening soon?
It's almost time for these.
What is
Claim your badges with ease. The badges make me think of the dev thing that they've been doing, where if you do the developer code, you get to claim a badge. And then.
Okay, how else do you get? Are there badges that are in it?
Flex off your bag with D13.
Governance. Para governance. Flex your bags with
NFTs.
these. Para NFTs.
There you
oh
go.
My gosh.
I don't know that I deserve a right answer noise for that one.
Yeah,
we
that was
got
really
through
hard.
it together.
That one, okay. I feel like, that.
But like you get like a whale governance badge, you get like a baby governance badge.
Yes, I remember.
Governance is almost ending. So yeah, it was a lot. That was a hard one.
It was a good one. I will have you know that I really appreciate you doing those limericks. It's just a good time for me. And give us an update.
Yeah, sorry.
Yeah, Maureen had no idea. We need a quick update for Algo Active. I will have you know, I thought this is going to be good. I'm going to wear the same clothes I'm going to wear on the show and do yoga before the show, and I'll post it. And then I remembered I'm a human being, and I don't quite like the look of my abdomen to knees area all the time.
Okay.
I'm going to have to retake it, I think. I'm not feeling great about the whole sitch. And so, yeah, I did do some yoga, and maybe I'll post it, but it was not good. Mainly because I'm not a videographer and I'm not really well practiced in yoga. And yeah, we all have the 30s front feel every once in a while. And this morning was one of those days. I was like, oh, that did not turn out good. I'm going to try this again.
I went and counted the entrance this morning, though. There's only about 9 people signed up, and the prize is over $400. So
that's
so we got some Algo
value.
Yeah, it's like 210 Algo, 1 Soul, and then 200K Nico.
The Soul guy. Oh my gosh.
Soul's like 190 right now. So.
Oh, I didn't. Well, I don't know about token prices. We need like a token person who cares about prices to come in and give us some price action talk on the show. But no, the yoga.
The yoga.
Oh man, I gotta find it now. We're gonna hang on just a minute longer, maybe run a little bit over. That we'll pull it for next week. He went from like a handstand to a tree
it's yoga.
Crazy.
He's a pro. He's been a yoga instructor for like a decade. He's really good.
It blew my mind. And I appreciate, Luga, that you don't make me feel bad when my yoga's not perfect though.
I mean, my yoga's terrible.
Yeah. We are beyond reproach, meaning that it just, it doesn't matter. Just give it your best shot. It doesn't have to be great like the pro yoga guy who can do all the moves. It can be anything. So that's something that you can get it in.
Chance winning $400 just for doing.
I'm going to do it. I always get in on that. And real quick, I think I've got a pretty comprehensive list, but I've got Kenrick Felix, Maureen Denny, football transfer gossip, Zarmian, Algo Learner, Fisherman, Bogan, Buddyman, Blessed, Luga. Who else did we miss in our chat? I think we got pretty much everybody. And then obviously Ted and Luga and whatnot. I think D13 is purposely stayed out of the chat so that he doesn't accidentally win a good boy. You did you were on the pup grade. I almost said team, but I think it was just you, right?
Yeah, I did do the pup grade site. It was honestly a lot of fun to make that, and it was well received, which is super appreciated. So
well,
I'm good.
About
I'm good, boys. We can leave my ticket out of it.
I figured you didn't, and you did a really good job. But I wanted to say everybody loved it. I loved my Pixel Pup reveal to my good boy. But what also has been really received is D-Boy. So I saw that Node Rewards went out yesterday, and I don't have the exact numbers on me because I have a million windows open on my 2 computer screens, and I'm scared of clicking the wrong button this late in the show and sending you all adrift. But it did really well its first week, right? I mean, let me go back to it.
Yes.
People liked it, talking about being well received. It's beyond exceeded expectations you had, I think, for the amount of steak.
By about 10x, easily. Just as a little anecdote, before I launched this, one of the last changes that I made was to add a cap to 65 million VOI locked. After that, it's going to refuse minting any other VOI. And when I was making that change, I thought that I'm being super silly, but right now there's 22 million already in the contract. And the rewards, the first rewards got paid out today, and I think that was 800,000 something. So and also the stake was deposited, like gradually as the week progressed. And so for next week, I think Bo was estimating that it's going to be paid 1.3 million in rewards, like 1.3.
That's insane. Over 20 million stake. Well, congratulations, but more importantly, thank you for making this your labor of love. You do a lot for the Algo fam. Like I said, not just this, not just that. Like I think you're on the grants accounts. Like you do it all, man. So as I knock down my light.
This little bit of that.
I appreciate it. Big time.
Yeah, you're very welcome.
Bunsen.
It's a high to have people use your things, your products as a builder.
I love talking to devs. It's something that y'all are always really busy building, and I always feel very nervous about interrupting your work. Not that you guys aren't nice, like devs are very nice on Algorithm, but I know you're all so busy and you're all working really hard. So when you volunteer your time to talk to me, it makes me like giddy. So I appreciate you both big time for joining us today.
Thank you very much for the invite. And yeah, it was great talking to all of you guys.
We'll have you back
anytime.
soon.
Yeah, you never interrupt. It's all good. See ya.
Thank you, everyone. D13. Have a great one. You got to come back again. We'll do another. And then we'll spin the wheel. I'll post it. Take care, guys. Thanks for hanging out late with us.